Hello, I'm Simon Whistler. You're watching Top 10's Net, and in the video today we're looking at the top 10 terrifying animals that lived alongside prehistoric man. Our species, Homo sapiens, have only been around about as long as a blink of an eye in terms of Earth's history. It's believed that the Earth formed over 4.6 billion years ago, and the first humans evolved about 200,000 years ago in Africa. In order to survive so that modern humans could flourish, our prehistoric ancestors had to fight off and hunt animals that were much bigger and far scarier than them. These are 10 horrifying animals they may have encountered as they migrated all over the world. Number 10. The Columbian mammoth. Columbian mammoths were one of the biggest mammals to ever walk on Earth, and they were the cousins to the far more famous woolly mammoths. Columbian mammoths were found all the way from modern-day Canada to Mexico, while woolly mammoths, who were smaller, were found in northern Asia, Russia, and Canada. Another major difference is that Columbian mammoths had much less hair, so they looked closer to modern-day elephants, but bigger with way longer tusks. Columbian mammoths were 12 to 14 feet tall and weighed anywhere between 5.5 and 11 tons. The Columbian mammoth also had the biggest tusks out of the elephant family. They were, on average, 12 feet long, spiraled, and very, very strong. They would have been used to fight off predators, including humans. Number 9. The ground sloth. We know that this list is about terrifying animals, and sloths are, well, they're pretty much anything but terrifying. However, their ancient ancestors, ground sloths, were a bit more intimidating than their modern-day counterpart because they were some of the biggest mammals to ever live. There were several different subspecies of ground sloths, and the ones that lived in North America were the size of rhinos, and humans most likely dined on them. However, the biggest ground sloths, the Megatherium, which lived in South America until about 10,000 years ago, were as big as an elephant. From head to tail, they were 20 feet long and weighed up to 4 tons. Also, because they had sharp teeth and long claws, there is some speculation that they may have been carnivores. Ultimately, the last species of ground sloths lived until about 4,200 years ago on the Caribbean islands. When humans arrived on the islands, it was the final death blow to the ground sloths. Number 8. Gigantopithecus. The biggest known primate to ever walk the earth was the Gigantopithecus, which is a relative of orangutans. They were 10 feet tall and weighed around 1,100 pounds. One thing you may notice is that the Gigantopithecus looks a lot like the mythical Sasquatch. However, before anyone begins to speculate, the Gigantopithecus died out 100,000 years ago. So, unless a group of 10-foot, half-ton apes actively hid themselves from humans for 1,000 centuries, it doesn't seem likely that people have seen Gigantopithecus and thought it was Bigfoot. The reason they died out after living on Earth for 6 to 9 million years is because they needed a lot of food, like fruits, to sustain their giant bodies, which wasn't a problem when their home in Southeast Asia was tropical forests, but then, because of weather changes, their forests started to change to dry savannas, meaning there was less food, and the giant primate just died out. Of course, Gigantopithecus may be familiar to those people who saw the very excellent live adaptation of The Jungle Book, because King Louie is a Gigantopithecus. Number 7. The cave hyena. Cave hyenas, also known as spotted coyotes, were about double the size of their relatives, the laughing coyote. They weighed up to 285 pounds, they were about 3 feet tall, and were nearly 5 feet long. According to calculations based on fossils, one cave hyena was strong enough to take down a 5-year-old mastodon that weighed a ton. However, they lived in packs, sometimes consisting of 30 coyotes. This made them much more effective hunters, and they could take down a 9-year-old mastodon that weighed 9 tons. Needless to say, a small family of humans would not want to come across a pack of hungry hyenas. Their population started to dwindle about 20,000 years ago before going extinct somewhere between 11,000 and 13,000 years ago. One reason may have been humans, because we competed with hyenas for cave space during the last ice age. Number 6. Smilodon. Saber-toothed cats are often given the very misleading title of saber-toothed tigers. It's misleading because while they were a part of the Felidae family, they weren't closely related to tigers. Saber-toothed cats first appeared 42 million years ago. There were many species of them, and most of them had died before humans first appeared. However, it's believed that humans living in the Americas could have come across 2 different species of saber-toothed cats, Smilodon fatalis and Smilodon populator. They ranged in size and could be as big as an African lion, which is the biggest wild lion living today. They also could weigh as much as the biggest subspecies of tiger, the Siberian tiger. With their size came great strength. The Smilodons could take down much bigger animals than themselves, like mammoths. Often they would wait for prey to get close and then launch a surprise attack. Out of the feline family, the Smilodon didn't have the strongest bite. According to calculations, it only had about 1/3 of the bite strength of modern lions. However, it had a really flexible jaw and could open its mouth 120 degrees, compared to a lion, which maxes out at 60 degrees. The Smilodon also had fairly weak teeth, but researchers think that to compensate for that, they developed the strongest forearms of all cats. It's believed that they used this strength to hold down their prey and then stabbed their fangs through the prey's neck. Another theory is that the Smilodon repeatedly stabbed the prey with their fangs after it was held down. No matter how they killed their prey, a human did not want to find itself under the forearms of a Smilodon. Number 5. The dire wolf. Fans of Game of Thrones may recognize dire wolves, but unlike many other animals on the show, dire wolves were real. They first appeared about 250,000 years ago. They were similar to modern-day grey wolves, but sturdier. The grey wolf, which is the largest living wolf, is about 4 feet to 6.6 feet long and weighs 40 to 170 pounds, while dire wolves were about 5 feet long and weighed up to 200 pounds. Dire wolves, which were found all over North and South America, had a bite force that was 29% stronger than grey wolves. Their diet consisted mostly of horses. They became extinct like a lot of other carnivores at the end of the last ice age about 10,000 years ago. Number 4. The American lion. Like a lot of other animals on this list, the American lion is horribly named because it's not actually a lion at all. Its scientific name is Panthera atrox, and as it suggests, the American lion is more closely related to panthers than lions. One part about the name that is correct is that they lived in modern-day America starting around 330,000 years ago. One notable aspect that our ancient ancestors would have noticed right away if they encountered an American lion is that it was huge. In fact, it is the biggest known wild cat in history. On average, they weighed 772 pounds, which is 25% larger than an African lion. The American lion is also incredibly strong. They were powerful enough to bring down a bison, meaning a small group of humans would have been in trouble had they encountered one of these lions. They died off around 11,000 years ago at the end of the last ice age. Number 3. The Megalania. Megalania was a monitor lizard, which is the same lizard family as the Komodo dragon, and it lived in Australia until about 50,000 years ago, around the same time that humans migrated there. The size of Megalania is a highly debated topic. Originally, it was thought to be 23 feet long, while other estimates put its size more in the range of 11 feet. Regardless, they were bigger than Komodo dragons, but like the Komodo dragon, the Megalania also had poisonous glands. It would simply bite its prey, and if it didn't die of blood loss, then it would be slowly poisoned to death, and the Megalania would feast on its carcass. Today, Komodo dragons are considered a very dangerous animal. They are fast, strong, and poisonous. They are also, on average, 6.5 feet long. The Megalania could have been 4 times that size, not exactly something a human, either prehistoric or modern, would want to bump into. Number 2. The short-faced bear. Bears first appeared about 40 million years ago, and several subspecies have evolved over the years. One that our prehistoric ancestors would have encountered is the short-faced bear. Short-faced bears were 5 feet tall at shoulder height, but when they stood up, they were 12 feet tall. It also had the ability to run on 2 legs. Now, if that wasn't terrifying enough, the short-faced bear also had long limbs and could run faster than a grizzly, possibly reaching speeds of 40 miles per hour. That means that even Usain Bolt, who was clocked in at 28 miles per hour, would be dinner for this beast. The giant short-faced bear was one of the biggest carnivores in North America. They first appeared about 800,000 years ago, and they became extinct about 11,600 years ago. Number 1. The Quincana. According to fossils, the Quincana first evolved about 1.6 million years ago, and they lived in modern-day Australia. They were huge members of the crocodile family, and they could grow to be 23 feet long. Just for some perspective, the longest crocodile in captivity was Lolong, and he was 20 feet long. A major difference between the quincana and many other crocodiles is that they were land dwellers. Since they lived on land, there were two major physical traits that the quincana developed. The first was that it had long, powerful legs. It would hunt its prey by chasing after them for long distances. The second difference is that crocodiles use their teeth to latch on and drag their prey into the water and drown it. The quincana's teeth, on the other hand, were much sharper and they were used for cutting. They died out about 50,000 years ago, about 10,000 years after humans first arrived in Australia. So I really hope you found that video interesting. If you did, please do hit that like button below and don't forget to subscribe for brand new videos just like this every day of the week. Also over there on the right, a couple of other videos that you might enjoy if you enjoyed this one, and thank you for watching.